Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something called Customer Relationship Management, or CRM. It's kind of like the invisible engine that has totally changed the game for how companies talk to us, and we're going to break down exactly how it all works.
So, have you ever stopped to think about that? You hop on a website and it somehow greets you by name? Or you call customer service and the person on the other end already has your entire order history pulled up? It's not magic, not at all. There's a really powerful strategy going on behind the scenes, and it all kicked off with one simple but totally revolutionary idea.
And there it is. That's the truth that changed everything. For decades, businesses just thought of customers as this big, anonymous blob. But as the world filled up with more and more competition, and we all got infinite choices, companies had to learn a tough lesson. To survive, you have to stop shouting at a crowd and start talking to me and to you.
Okay, so first up, let's dig into this massive shift. It was a complete pivot from a world where the product was king to the world we live in now where, let's be honest, the customer pretty much holds all the cards.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way of thinking, the product-centric world. The entire focus was on what they were selling. The goal? Super simple. Move as many units as possible to whoever would buy them. But now, look at the right. The whole thing flips on its head. In our customer-centric world, the focus is all on the who, on understanding you, the individual, what you need, what you're worth to the company, and even structuring the entire business around you.
And if you're wondering why they made this huge shift, well, it all came down to this. The numbers don't lie. It costs a company 6 times more to go out and find a brand new customer than it does to just keep an existing one happy. All of a sudden, keeping you around wasn't just a nice to have, it was the absolute core of a smart, profitable business.
So, with this new obsession with the customer, the way companies talk to us had to completely change too. They had to go from basically shouting with a megaphone at everyone to learning how to have a quiet, one-to-one conversation.
And you can see that whole evolution right here. It all starts back in the 60s with mass marketing, one TV ad meant for millions of people. Then in the 70s, it got a little smarter with direct marketing, the first real shot at seeing who was actually responding. The 80s brought target marketing, where they could start grouping us into different buckets based on data. But the real revolution, the true game changer, hit in the 90s with the birth of relationship marketing. That was the beginning of a real conversation.
And all of that led straight to what we now call customer relationship management. But here's the most important thing to get straight. CRM is not just a piece of software you buy. It is a completely new philosophy for doing business.
So at its heart, what is CRM? It's really the whole setup a company uses to do 2 main things. First, increase the value of its customers, and second, give those valuable customers a really good reason to stick around. It's a strategy that's supposed to be a win-win. Now, it's also super important to talk about what CRM isn't, because there are a ton of myths out there. It's not just a program you install, it's not some project you can just hand off to the marketing department and forget about, and it is absolutely not a magical tech band-aid for bigger business problems. I mean, look at that last point. Something like 70% of early CRM projects actually failed. Yeah, you heard that right. It's proof that if the company culture isn't ready to change, the best tool in the world won't save you.
And really, if you want to boil this entire philosophy down to one simple, powerful idea, this quote just nails it. Every single thing a company does, every piece of data it collects, is all supposed to work toward this one goal, making every single customer feel like they're seen as an individual. All right, so that's the big idea. But how do companies actually, do it? How do they turn that philosophy into real action? Well, it breaks down into 2 different but totally connected sides of CRM.
Think of it like a restaurant. On one side, you have operational CRM. That's the front office, the waiters, the hosts, everything you see and interact with. It's the sales call, the support email, the ad you see online. But then, on the other side, you have analytical CRM. That's the back office, the kitchen. That's where all the data from your interactions gets crunched to understand your behavior, spot patterns, and figure out how to make your next experience even better.
And here's where it gets really clever. Those 2 sides are in constant communication. It's called a closed-loop campaign. Step 1, the analytical side analyzes all the data. Step 2, that analysis fuels a super targeted campaign from the operational side. Step 3, the company watches to see how you respond, which, guess what, creates new data. And that new data gets fed right back to the start to make the next campaign even smarter. It's this continuous loop of learning and getting better.
So, we've gone through the history and how it works under the hood.
But let's bring it back to you. How does this stuff actually pop up in your daily life? Well, the simple answer is pretty much everywhere.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. When Amazon suggests a book you might actually love, that's CRM. When you call your phone company and the agent already knows what plan you have, CRM. Those coupons that print out at the grocery store for things you actually buy, or loyalty programs that feel like they were designed just for you, that's all CRM in action. It's this huge, invisible system trying to create a personal experience just for you.
And that brings us to the ultimate goal here. Modern companies aren't just trying to sell you a thing anymore. They are trying to own the entire customer experience. They want to shape how you feel about every single touch point, from the very first ad you see to a support call you make 5 years down the line. It's all about making you feel understood and valued.
Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. In a world that runs on data, where algorithms can predict what we'll do next, it's kind of ironic that the whole point of this incredibly complex system is to make business feel more human again. The real question is, can it ever really get there? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.